Hey guys, welcome to the channel. It's Hamza. I just got this news. It is breaking news, so I thought I would post it up here for you guys to be able to see. This is very important. Robinhood yesterday, the CEO of Robinhood came and made a statement. It was a very vague statement as to why exactly they shut down trading. Hold on, let me just get this screen to get a little larger. So it was a very vague statement when asked by CNBC presenters whether it was a shortage in liquidity. They did confirm that it was not, in fact, a shortage in liquidity. When asked if Citadel had to do anything with this, they confirmed that it did not have anything to do with Citadel. However, this news just broke a couple of hours ago, pre-market, so I do want to play it and comment on it really quickly.
To put this in simple terms, what happened yesterday was Robinhood was unable to meet the deposit requirements that it was anticipating for those shares in certain symbols by the clearinghouses.
So the CEO of Robinhood yesterday clearly mentioned that that was in fact not the case. So the fact that they raised $1 billion today confirms that that was the case. So the CEO, just to be clear, did mention that that was not the case. So that's strike one right there.
For every time that you want to go buy something, they have to actually make a deposit first. And the anticipation was that they were not going to be able to do that. And before having a liquidity crisis, they were trying to prevent one, which raises all sorts of questions. I asked one of them, which was effectively how concerned he is that some folks are saying, I'm going to stick in this to the end. We've talked a lot about this, that some of these investors aren't just trying to stick it to the man, but ultimately they may be sticking it to themselves.
Ultimately, we're a self-directed platform and we are in favor of access. So we think that customers should have that access. We should also give them the tools and education that they need to be informed market participants. And so we've been investing a lot in our Robinhood Learn portal. Ultimately, we don't provide advice. We are a self-directed brokerage platform, and we understand people might want to make investments for various reasons, and we're supportive and we stand with our customers in providing that access.
Some investors look at the idea of an accredited investor, a wealthy investor, the professionals, as having a leg up, that the system is really rigged in their favor. Do you think that's true?
Anytime there's limits to participation, that prevents certain people that might be interested in doing things from doing them. I'm not going to say that those limits are unmotivated. There's reasons that these limits were put in place by regulators in the first place. And
so the question here was actually very simple, right? The question is whether regular people, retail investors versus the big guys, do you think that we are at a disadvantage? And he's clearly saying over here that limiting us, retail investors, to trading has no significant consequence, which is in fact not true. It has a huge consequence, right? We were unable to trade these stocks when we wanted to. So we're going to go ahead and see what he says.
Robinhood is committed to engaging in that conversation. We believe we have a valuable insight from serving this customer base, but I'm also not going to go ahead and blanket say that, regulations are not motivated, because there are very, very reasonable motivations for some of these things.
So just to be clear, guys, he didn't really answer the question. He basically said that that regulators do things to demotivate retail investors, and he took none of the blame and didn't answer and completely avoided answering the question of whether this is something that Robinhood was responsible for or Citadel was responsible for, or what exactly caused this to happen.
It was fascinating to listen to some of his comments as we all grapple with what's happening, not just with these shares, but also with Robinhood itself. Big questions about whether Robinhood investors, clients, if you will, are going to stay with Robinhood or whether they're going to jump to other platforms. Questions about the robustness of the system, and clearly the company trying to not only protect itself perhaps more than investors themselves, so they would have been injured too had they not been able to make the deposits in the process. And we'll see what the announcement of $1 billion investment does and whether it does instill more confidence. This is a platform that's gone down before, by the way. We earlier this year they struggled with the issue of it being a robust platform, and I think it does raise lots of questions for the company, but also more broadly for the industry if some of these systems can't handle the kinds of trading that's taking place.
Well, that was going to be my question, Andrew. I mean, is this a situation of growing pains for Robinhood, like we saw earlier when their trading platform just couldn't handle the amount of volume that came on? Or is this just a business model that doesn't work? When you are offering free trades to everybody, you can do that when times are easy and times are good, but anytime there's going to be any stress in the system, are they going to be able to handle it? And the whole idea of, was this a liquidity crisis? I mean, they're trying to say they were trying to prevent a liquidity crisis, but they basically did face a liquidity crisis yesterday. They had to stop trading in a lot of these things. They had to draw down their credit lines, and they had to get $1 billion of additional input from other investors.
So this is something that is extremely important for you guys to understand. The headline says Robinhood raises $1 billion, right? It makes it sound like it's positive, like Robinhood did something amazing and that there are investors who are willing to give Robinhood $1 billion. But the reality is they just mentioned again over here that they did draw down their entire lines, which means that Robinhood actually needed $1 billion, sorry, in order to be able to cope up with demand, which means that there is in fact a liquidity crisis in Robinhood right now.
But that's kind of the definition of a liquidity crisis. They came through it at this point, but they hit a liquidity crisis yesterday.
So she literally is saying flat out, Robinhood did have a liquidity crisis. So that raises $1 billion should actually be borrows $1 billion.
I think there's two issues here. One is I do think there's a business model issue to some degree. 95% of the time, it's all going to work. 5% or maybe less, it's going to get complicated, and this is one of those type of situations. But I think it's also an issue of a startup. This was not happening at Fidelity. Now, you could argue this was not happening at a Fidelity in part because so many people were not all using Fidelity to make these trades. So there is a sort of unique confluence of where all the trading activity was. But I think there's going to be a big question among regulators and the like about what kind of capital requirements systems like this need. And perhaps the models unto themselves need to be changed in terms of what those requirements are.
Okay, guys, I just quickly wanted to cover this before market opens. This is breaking news. Robinhood did get a loan of $1 billion, although the title does say, CNBC's title says they raised $1 billion, which is not the case. So we need to be careful while trading. They may restrict trading on other ticker symbols if they go volatile today, meaning things like Nokia, not GameStop, but the other ticker symbols like BBBY, PLKR. These are all symbols that could get affected today, and trading could get halted if Robinhood has that liquidity crisis again. So that's it for me. I'll see you guys next video. This was just an emergency announcement, so I had to make it really because the news literally just broke like an hour ago. Okay, this is pre-market, 29th of January.